All right, so I guess are we okay? Good. All right, finally. Wow, my God. I think this is like some sort of test for me. Uh, yeah. All right. So I guess I'm on face. I'm on it. Run. Rely. Okay. I can't. I can't imagine. Anyway, hi everyone. Thanks for joining me. And I don't know who's left. It's so late. I've been fooling around with this for. If you're in New York, I'm sure you should be long asleep by now. It's ridiculous. Anyway, what I wanted to do is just I wanted to uh, you know open this up to let you know what's going on. Um, here in Arizona, and I'll talk to you a little bit about what's happening. So I think a lot of you got the message already that we're yeah. Oh, great, great. Oh, from Bangkok. Wow, cool, fantastic. So anyway, what's happening in Arizona right now is that they are trying to get rid of the homeopathic board for some reason. We all know why, and they've tried several times in the past, and but there was a different there were different, what do you call it, a different party in a different party was governor, and it was a different world. It was still difficult, so they've tried to get rid of the homeopathic board several times. um, I'll tell you, I moved from New York. As I said, I moved from New York to Arizona just because of the medical freedom, just because I could do what I knew was best for people. And um, so I and I came here for the homeopathic license. So and there's a lot of us here like that. There's a lot. It's not just me. It's other doctors that are here. So, and as I said earlier, you've got to be an MD or a DO to to get this license, and then you're under their jurisdiction. So they're trying to cancel us. So what can we do? The only thing we can do is if everybody could tell 10 people, because tomorrow morning, I mean, tomorrow at 2 p.m., they're voting. So if you look on the website, if you look on I think on any of the social medias, you'll find the six people that are on this committee who are going to be doing the voting, and just send them all the same letter. And we just need numbers. We need, like, tens of thousands of people to do that, to let everyone know that they need to know that the citizens, the public, wants to have freedom of choice when it comes to medical care, and that's all we're asking for. Just freedom of choice. Let us choose. Let's have all of these different modalities be available. I mean, all these different disciplines be available. Allopathy, MDs, osteopathy, um, chiropractic, naturopathy, um, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic. Let all of them just be available, and then the person can choose what fits them. So that's all we're saying. But they're trying to eliminate us. So um, really, what I want to do is just tell you all to, if you haven't yet written, write, please write. And if you have, if you know anyone else that can just write to them, telling them that um, you know you've either known people that have had been helped here in Arizona by doctors on the homeopathic board, homeopathic medical. What is it called? It's called. They've changed the name now. It's the um, Arizona Homeopathic and Integrative Medical Board or whatever. So they went beyond just homeopathic, but it's also integrative medical. So that's really great, and that's allowed us to do all the things that we can do. Just things that you might not be able to do in other states. Nothing bad, only good stuff. Nothing. No, we don't harm people. Um, but anyway, so what we got to do is come together. This is the time to come together. It's time to. This is one of the. I think this is one of the big ones, right? Like, uh, we got to keep that. We've got to keep medical freedom. In fact, it was written in what was his Benjamin Rush wrote it into the Constitution about medical freedom. I think he was a physician at that time, at the time of the Constitution. So anyway, so you guys are all here. So let's see what's up. Oh, thank you very much, Dawn. I mean, that's wonderful. I love to hear that stuff. So I'm trying to see if I can currently. Oh, okay. So let's try to tonight. We're gonna have a live on Sunday. So let's kind of save stuff for that tonight. Let's talk a little bit about. I mean, if you do you have any questions about the medical boards or about what's happening or what we can do? You're in New York City trying to find a yeah. So there you go. He's in New York City trying to find an integrative medical, and I was in New York City and New York, and I was always in front of the defending myself for what I was doing, and it worked out. It worked out because I was everything I do is always science based. There's data that it works. And by the way, my green juice, right? Remember something about green juice. Why is it green? I mean, why is the green juice? Because it came from plants, and the plants absorb the sunlight, and so this is liquid sunshine. It's liquid sunshine, so you can't get a better drink. Water is pretty cool, but I mean, that's about what 98% water anyway. Anyway, so those are the things to drink. Water and fresh vegetable juices are good. Add little fruit, but not all fruit. Not all fruit. Mold. What about that? All right. So yeah. So anyway, it would certainly be a tragic loss if this bill gets passed and they close down the homeopathic medical board. That would because as you know, Arizona has become like in the U.S. has become like a mecca for alternative therapies, alternative doctors. Right? It's not just me. It's you know there's many here. There's many centers like that, and the same as in Nevada, as I mentioned. Nevada's got a homeopathic medical license for doctors, which again gives us the more freedom to use therapies that are non-toxic and are physiological and are uh, work with our metabolism. They're metabolic as opposed to being toxic. So it allows us to do that. Can you imagine? We have to be granted permission not to harm people. It yeah. The condition we're in is actually unfathomable. Where are we here? So, okay, all right. So, but here we are. It'd be a tragic loss. So, remember something. Um, so in New York, by the way, whoever's in New York, there are doctors there. There's a Dr. Jeff Morrison. He's in Manhattan. He's a great doctor. I haven't been there in so long that I really don't remember all the other guys. Um, but I remember Jeff because he's a friend of mine, and he does amazing work, and We've known each other since like the early 2000s, but way back at the Atkins Center. So, but he's there. Um, and if you, anyway, if you, like if you live on Long Island or you live somewhere and you can't get to, maybe call them and just ask if there's any other people. I know New York's okay actually, because I was able to defend everything they complained about. Like vitamin C, IPT. Um, what else did they complain about? Or they asked me. They didn't complain. They asked me to defend. Well, at one point, one of the doctors from one of the hospitals just said something very broad to the board, and the board always feels obligated to. I mean, they're obligated if they get a complaint from anyone, they have to follow it. So there was a complaint by a doctor in the hospital who said something bizarre like this guy's killing people. So they came to my office, they looked at everything, talked to the patient, saw that everybody was happy, smiling, sharing recipes, and uh, alive and well, and all that. And so again, they dropped. Of course, they didn't investigate further. But so I understand. But what I'm saying is, I think New York's pretty cool because you can defend it. What I found in New York is if you know what you're talking about, you can defend it. Now I don't know about other states. I don't know about California uh, or Texas or Florida or any of them. Nebraska. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But anyway, let's keep this. You guys, if you know anybody that would be willing to write, who cares that we all have this freedom to um, work together, because otherwise, can you imagine if they took that away from us? Yeah. So anyway, let's see. Do we have any questions? Because I know it's late for everyone, and oh yeah. So here's somebody from. As you could, if you all can read um, the chat, here's somebody from saying Australia is getting even harder. It's getting hard. I know that because I speak to people, consult with people from Australia weekly. I mean, several times a week, different people, new people, and that's the hardest thing down there is to find anything, to find doctors, to find supplies, to find anything. It's crazy. It's getting crazy, you guys. So let's hang on to what we have the best we can. And remember, the best we can is for us all to be together, to stand up together. What is the bill? Okay, so the bill. Let me read this bill. I mean, this is really bizarre. Let me find it for you. Where was it? Yeah. So it is bill number. Okay, HB 2739 for House bill, and the committee members. It's the Regulatory Affairs Committee, and the members. There's 6 of them. One, yeah, okay. I'm not going to mention their names and all that, but so if you can, so we just want them to vote no on it because the what does it want to do to us? It wants to, without the MDH license in Arizona, physicians will only be allowed to practice using the standards of allopathic medicine. All MD and DO physicians will not be able to offer options you now have access to. So HB 2739 threatens access to integrative and natural medicines in Arizona. Um, so this says act now, voice your viewpoint via RTS, email committee members. Share this post, ask others to join in, take action. Yeah, so let's do it, you guys. Let's do it. Let's save ourselves, because the only 2 states really, as I said, were Arizona and Nevada, uh, and if we lose those, then it's going to be, well, you'll have to, then we'll have to, you can only go to Mexico or maybe, Thailand or get out, but we're not going to be able to do it in this country. And it's just not fair. It's not right. It's not cool. Um, so it's a free country, was what we were told. And it's what we grew up thinking. And, and I think, the thing about freedom is that you've got to, you can't just take it for granted. You got to work for it. And when it's time to fight for it, you got to be ready to fight for it. You can't, we can't expect, we were lucky to have been born in the, whatever, if you're in any of our countries, but, um, UK, Australia, Canada, whatever, France, um, and because during these times, if you look back in history, during these times, there's relative freedom compared to, uh, feudal times, compared to in the past. That past anything past 400, 300, 400 years ago, 300 years ago, there was always just basically two classes of people. There were the rulers and the servants, the elite and the um, slaves, the royal class. And so now what happened was, with the birth of America about 200, whatever it was, 200, almost 300 years ago, what emerged was a middle class, was a people that were not of noble lineage, and they were able to, um, you know, do things other than, be able to explore their talent, explore their talents, explore their potential, their aptitude. And it was for the first time in history. And so what grew up around that was a middle class, and that middle class, and this happened, and then it kind of spread around the world. And if you can remember, I don't know, some of you probably not old enough, but um, at one point, China was very um, rural, backwards, and not really that long ago. Then they got a lot of data and information, and they finally said, "Okay, you guys can now work and earn money." And it's because as soon as they said that, they had so many billionaires in China. The same thing happened in the Soviet Union when it became Russia. When the wall dropped. Again, because the human spirit is to well, it's like the imperatives placed upon humanity um, by God is to regenerate, rejuvenate, and procreate. Regenerate, rejuvenate, and procreate. And that's what we do on all levels, not just physical, but we do that psychologically, intellectually, morally, um, um, spiritually. Can't really change anything spiritually. Our spirit is one, and it's perfect already, so there's no way to change it. But the rest of us, we need a little work, we need a little help. Anyway, so so this middle class grew up. So we had this middle class, and then so now, as you know, they're trying to get rid of the middle class again and go back to the old rulers and slaves, rulers and slaves. And he's going to hear rulers and slaves. So we don't want that. So this is our chance, our time, and we've got to fight. We've got to fight, and the fighting doesn't only mean physical violence. Fighting is what a lot of people are doing. You've seen them. You know who they are because you watch the same stuff I watch, and you read the same things I read. I'm sure. So So here it is, but this is one of the. I think this is a very fundamental thing here. To lose this right to practice natural, safe medicine, to lose that right is going to be a tragedy for us, for humanity. Yeah. So let me see. You got any questions? Mississippi, all right. Beautiful, Amber. Thank you. Yay. Okay. Very good. So anyway, so that's the bill, and it's crazy. And by the way, we didn't know I didn't know until yesterday, and because there's an association here we belong to. It's called HEMA, and they let us know. So here we are. Um, here we are. So, I know you're all interested in talking about what we always talk about, and I'll do that. I'll do that on Sunday. But today I was hoping to just see if there's any questions about, or we could talk about um, how to save our the ability to get, for example, vitamin C. You want vitamin C IV? You can't go. You go to a regular doctor, they don't know what you're talking about. They say what? They don't have it, and they can't really figure out why you need it. So you can't get it. So it just doesn't exist. Vitamin C, ozone? No, only quacks use ozone. Um, Artesunate? Oh no. We use that for malaria only. But anyway, there's all these things, and then herbs and changing diet and all that. Because you know what mainstream tells us. Doesn't matter what you eat. Doesn't matter. So anyway, that's what's going to happen. Can you imagine if all doctors thought like that? Like 100%, what would we do? What would we do? So we've got this thing, and there's a lot of very cool doctors here. And you all may know Gabriel Cousins. Uh, he was here he's in Arizona. I think he's moved to Israel now, but in Patagonia, uh, he had a center down there. It was great, beautiful, wonderful. But doing things like that. I mean, imagine he had this place where you'd go and you'd heal, and it was you'd stay there for a while, and the kind of thing I'm doing in Thailand, and you'd stay there for a while, and but it was in Arizona. It was in Arizona. So if you're it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in Utah, if you're in Connecticut, whatever, it's still not that far. But you could go there and you could get medical um, what do you call it, guidance, uh, and change your diet, change your lifestyle, and uh, learn to quiet your mind, learn to tap into uh, the infinite side of yourself, and imagine that as a medical, right? So let's not lose it. So please, if you know anybody, whoops, don't take away our freedom of choice. Boy, things are getting weird. Yeah. Okay. So I can't. I really don't know what I'm reading here. Huh. All right. Well, anyway, so listen. So I don't see anybody interested in the last year taking organic herbs at the vitamin stop. It has completely made a difference in my health benefits. Beautiful, Amber. Yeah, I mean that's it. Can you imagine? All we have to really, we were talking about this today at the clinic. All we have to do. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. All we have to do. It's so simple. It's so simple that you won't believe it that it work that it'll what the consequences. But here's how simple it is. All we have to do is number one, go to bed early, like we're not doing tonight. Like, don't do what we're doing tonight because this was great. Well, I was here 3 hours trying to get on for this, you know. Um, so I know this is a test. I know this is the universe. This is God just teasing me. Um, but anyway, all you do is go to bed early and take melatonin, take extra melatonin, because remember, our pineal glands are being bomb, 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 bomb with fluoride and EMF and all that stuff. So, even if you're young, who knows how much melatonin you're making. And it's not going to hurt you to take it. It's not, it's only going to do good. It only does good stuff. So take some melatonin, go to bed early. When you wake up, or you'll normally wake up early, do your prayers, meditation. Well, you go to the bathroom first, then prayers, meditation, And then when you're done, read a book. And I think I'm gonna list on my on the website. I'm gonna list a reading list that I suggest. Okay, and read these books. And remember, the first time you read a book is an introduction, because it's like human nature when you're reading a book the first time is you want to finish it. You want to get to the end of it instead of saying, "Wait a minute, I'm going to enjoy and learn." It's not till the second reading that you say, "Okay, all right, now I got it. I get what they're talking about. Now I'm going to see." Yeah. Anyway, so you read books. So you read books, and the books will be on nutrition, real nutrition, not the American Dietetics Association, but real nutrition, based on who we are, what we are in the zoological um, taxonomic tree. Where do we fit? And the way in zoology, in biology, the way they design or they categorize us as as being species, and then genus, family, and order, and so and all the way up to phylum. And so pretty much, and it's all based on anatomy and physiology, and this, and it's in the same species. Now you can actually produce offspring. So if you're the same species, um, but anyway, our anatomy and physiology are fitted for particular foods, particular lifestyles, etc. Right? So if you got big wings and you got hollow bones, you're gonna fly, right? And if you got a big trunk and heavy legs and you weigh several tons, you're going to eat trees, and then you're going to be nice and kind and probably have a really good memory, all that stuff. Um, so anatomy and physiology design us exists so that we can uh, uh, interact in the world, and especially to eat. So you eat the food that we were designed to eat. So anyway, so you've done your reading, and you're going to read about nutrition. You're going to read about maybe some spiritual, some scripture. You're going to read about anything to do with health and fitness and things like that, and scripture. And then the third thing to do is get up and move, get out and move. Move. You know, um, go for a good long walk. Do some, do jumping jacks, do push-ups, and you don't have to be strong. You don't have to do a lot of it. You just have to do enough for you. And then you do that, and go out for a nice walk and all that. Or if you can't do that, if you live in a place where you can't really do that, then just stay inside and do jumping jack, push-ups, and uh, whatever. Just move around. Get on a stationary bike, running in place, whatever it is. Just keep moving for a while. Now you've done all that. You've taken care of your mind, body, and spirit. And then what happens is you go and do your work, your job, and you make sure that you didn't eat, you don't eat, you stopped eating 4 hours, average 4 hours before you go to sleep, and you went to bed early, 8 o'clock. So you stopped eating at 5, at 4. And then if you stopped eating at 4, then you can eat again at 10. That'll give you 18 hours between last and first meal, which is excellent, perfect. If you stopped eating at 5, then you can eat at 11 a.m. And if you stopped eating at 6, you can eat at noon, right? So it's not that bad, really. It's not that bad. You get up in the morning and drink some water. It's good that you get well hydrated in the morning. Put some of the what do you call it? Molecular hydrogen tabs in the water. Drink that. Get that. That'll help uh, clean up some hydroxyl radicals that you have left hanging around. And then you eat when you eat. And when you eat, make sure the food is whole, real. Uh, you can recognize what it is when you look at it. You can see that it's a leaf, or you can see that it's a banana, or you can see whatever it is. All right, so whole, real foods. Um, and then you can eat twice, and you're going to finish, and then you're going to go to bed early. But throughout the day, about every 90 minutes, you're going to get up and you're going to do 10 minutes of vigorous movement, like we were talking about, as vigorous as you can. So if you're frail and you're weak because of a different various conditions, then you won't move as fast as the guy who's not. So what? You're going to move as fast as you can. That you're going to get going because you just got to keep things circulating. You've got to get. And I'm going to be doing a podcast with Darren, several, but the one coming up we're going to be doing soon, and we're going to talk about the incredible relationship between movement and state of mind, clarity, cognitive ability, memory, uh, and immunity. It's amazing. It's amazing. One of the best immune um, ways to stimulate your immune system, which is we all need to do, is movement. And it doesn't have to be long marathons. It just has to be quick. Uh, you know, like there's all the studies are showing that if you do something rapid, like you run as fast as you can for 30 seconds, it's not a long time. Stop for about 4 minutes. Run again for 30 seconds. Stop for 4 minutes. It's not and you do that 4 or 5 times, and it's incredible what it does. You climb the stairs for 70 seconds. It's not a long time. You're gonna double your natural killer cells. So anyway, that's it. That's all you have to do. And and our nutritional needs are so much less than you would believe. The reason we think we need to eat a lot is because we're always eating non-food. We're eating like these big, I look at these like double and triple cheeseburgers with all the stuff and all the bread and wow, you eat all that and you're still like, it's not quite, I'm full, but I still want to, I did, and you're never satisfied because you're not satisfied because you really didn't satisfy your nutritional requirements at all. As a matter of fact, that kind of food is going to require more energy to digest it than you're going to really get from it. So, anyway, oh, you're in Nevada. Okay, hey Judy. Yeah, yeah. So Nevada would be next. I don't know if there's anything like that's happening. Okay, you like to have a reading list. I don't know what's happening in Nevada because Nevada's the other place, and I know some great doctors there too. Dr. Frank Schallenberger's there. Um, there was another guy I knew in Reno. I think he retired though. But anyway, these places, Nevada and Arizona, attract doctors who are not willing to poison people. Can you imagine? And so they come here. So at least there's some place, even if it's not your state, it's in your country, and you can get here. But we have people come from all over the world to us here in Arizona, so it's open to the world. There just needs to be places like this. So let's save it. But anyway, I'm sorry. To be healthy is easy. It's easy. In fact, it requires less effort than is required to be unhealthy. You've got to do more. You've got to expend more energy to be unhealthy. It's amazing. It's amazing. But it's very simple. And once you do it, because right now I've got a couple Thai doctors here. We're training them and they have noticeable difference from the food, eating the food, raw food, raw, uncooked food, which and it's delicious. They're loving it, which is pretty good because Thai people don't usually like uh, anything but Thai food. So you know, um, but you can have raw Thai food, and that's what we're going to be doing in Thailand. You can have raw Thai food. You can have raw um, Korean food. You can have raw Italian food. You can do it. You can make it taste fantastic. Like what? This is raw. I can't believe it's raw. That's what people always say. You got to make it taste good. So anyway, but the point is, what I was going to say is that they've been here a couple weeks, and they're like, they can already feel the difference. And they don't eat that way. Although I'm sure on the weekends when they're off, I'm sure they're eating other differently, and but they can notice it. So really, it doesn't take long to get healthy. Again, to restore your health, and that's what we all want to do. We want to restore our health. one thing you want to remember is that if you like focused on, I have CFCs, I have chronically fermenting cells. I want to get rid of my chronically fermenting cells, or I have heart problems. I got to fix my heart problems. Right, diabetes. All of those are just different manifestations of the same underlying pathology problem. Not pathology. There's no pathology. The underlying adaptive physiology, and and the, due to toxemia. Accumulated toxins eventually accumulate to the point where the glands that make your hormones, like ovaries, testes, thyroid, pituitary, adrenals, those glands, when they get accumulated toxins to a point and they start to diminish their ability to produce their hormones, then you start to see what we have identified as aging, what we call it aging, right? And so um, and I say that because there are cultures where the women are giving birth at 65 and the men are still able to they're still potent. They're able to get a woman pregnant at the age of 110, and they're still run, and all of them are running around at 130, 140. So, you know, all right. So anyway, yeah. So okay. And the reading list. There's some books that I just think are really important. And the thing about reading books is get the books. I mean, I know this is the new. It's an electric generation, and everyone reads. Okay, okay, all right. Let me plug this in. Excuse me. Um, Everyone's reading ebooks, and oh my gosh. Well, that might be how we're gonna have to. Where is my charger? God. Wow. Oh well, forget it. Forget it. Forget it. I don't know where my charger is, so I hope that we last a while. How long do we have? Anyway, so um, and I've gotten through reading. And I was going to say, I know you like, it's more convenient to have an ebook and you can read it, but that's not the same thing. I mean, you can read it, you'll get the information, and if you're okay with that, that's okay. But you're still electronic, and um, it's your eyes. You got to make sure you have these on with the, that shape block the blue light. Um, but it's nice to hold a book, smell the book. The books are like fantastic. Remember, the world changed. The books took us out of the dark ages. You know, um, so prior to the first printing press, um, there was widespread ignorance. No one had any literacy, except for the clergy, and the clergy were the ones that kind of ruled. The clergy and the royalty. They've always been kind of connected. But anyway, they were the ones that could read, and we couldn't. And then came the printing press. When the printing press came, all of a sudden the books were available, and all of a sudden, that was the beginning of the Renaissance, and then the Renaissance. So knowledge, so never lose knowledge. And the reason you want to read every day, why do you want to read every day? Because when you walk out the door, there's no truth. Nothing out there is true. Advertising signs? No. Magazines? No. Uh, Signs in the window? No. You're talking to the guy who just is repeating what he heard on the news, or everyone and everyone's got they've given us what opinions we should have. or you should have this opinion. You should have this opinion about this subject, this opinion about this subject, and then there are people who will have the opposite, and these are the opposite ones you can have. And so they've actually designed all that, right? So what I have found is that like I don't like to read people's impression or interpretation of the Bible. I'd rather just read the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or whatever I'm going to read. Um, and Anyway, one book right now I'll tell you about, and that is that I recommend everyone because it's a foundation of knowing about health, and that is it was written in 1915 it was written by Dr. John Tilden. He was a medical doctor, and it's called Toxemia Explained. And I'm going to write the sequel to that, Toxemia Re-Explained. In our now that we have different vocabulary, we have different knowledge of biology and the immune system and stuff like that. I want to rewrite that, but with the same theme, and you'll see it's beautifully written. Now they have a new version of it. They have a version of it that's it's the dumbed down version. It's like it's kind of like the difference between reading. I don't know if anyone's ever read a novel from the early 20th century versus a novel now. The language is very different. So anyway, he wrote, but anyway, so they changed. There's a new version of Toxemia Explained. But to see if you can get the old one, read the old one the way he wrote it, what he intended. So that's a great one. It's not long, and it's really good, And I'll just tell you one other one that you've got to all read. You all have to read as many times, as well as Toxemia Explained many times, and that is Health for the Millions by Herbert M. Shelton. Hard to get now. I can't believe it. We used to get it for 79 cents. But Health for the Millions, unbelievable book. If you read that a few times so that you actually know what he's saying, that's it. I mean, he talks about I grew up reading him, so those are two to get started with. Anyway, so I just want you guys to come together. Let's keep alternative. They're calling it alternative, and I guess it is. It's an alternative to what? It's an alternative to being poisoned. It's an alternative to being tortured. It's an alternative to being mutilated. Yeah, it's an alternative. But I like to think of it as I'm in a different paradigm. So medicine is to fix something that's wrong. It's the way it's But I like to define medicine as anything that makes a sick human well. And that couldn't be a pat on the back. That can be a hug. That can be flowers. That can be vitamin C. It can be many things. It can be a big salad. Did you ever read about cruciferous vegetables? Did you ever read what it does? There was a whole laboratory devoted to it at Johns Hopkins, the Brassica lab. I mean, the research of that. I mean, talk about, Hippocrates, let thy food be thy medicine, medicine be thy food. Wow. So medicine can be anything that makes a sick human well. All right. So it's certainly what I would think could not possibly fit into that definition would be poison. All right. So anyway. Okay, I was just trying to go. I can go to bed at 2 a.m. and wake up the next day at 12 and fully rested. Amber. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Well, I'm glad you brought this up. We can go to bed at 11 p.m. and we can wake up at 7 a.m. We will have had 8 hours, and we'll feel good. We'll have energy. We'll be restored mostly. I mean, somewhat. Because we will have dreamt a lot. We will, even if we don't remember, we will have dreamt a lot. So we won't be angry. We won't be impatient, and we'll feel pretty good. However, we will not have restored our body back because and I've talked about this before, 90-minute sleep cycles. and you've got to get at least 3 or 4 of them in before 2 a.m. 1:30, 2 a.m. So, and we'll talk about sleep later. But anyway, I get you, Aim. And if you're a housewife and you can do that, that's beautiful. But you feel so much better if you can get to bed early and wake up early 4. So if you can get up before and you do all this stuff, by the time 6 o'clock rolls around, you're like, wow, on fire, and you're feeling wonderful, and then you have a fantastic day. Um, there's a big difference. There's a big difference that cannot actually be described. It's kind of like you can't describe. There's certain things you can't describe. Like, wouldn't it be hard to describe um, sound to someone who is deaf? Wouldn't it be hard to describe um, color to someone who is blind? Yeah. So it's very hard to define health, what it feels like to be health, what it feels like to have real rest, if we haven't had it. Because we haven't had it. We grew up in an unhealthy world. We grew up unhealthy. We were born toxic, and we remain toxic. And so we have no reference of health. So the only thing we can do is just stop eating, clean it all out, get healthy, and then go to bed early, do all this stuff for a while, and then say, wow, I get it. And I'll tell you, there's no better high in the world than health. There's nothing that comes close to it. Okay, it's fantastic. And it makes you happy. It makes you love everyone. You become like an inspiration to people. So get healthy. So anyway, I guess we're gonna go now because this I wasn't really planning this. Um, yeah, we're gonna have it in Thailand. Toxemia Explained is on Amazon. Okay, well make sure that it's don't get the like revise the edition. Try to get the original. Okay, because Health for the Millions. $75. Is that incredible? It's a paperback. And I used to have like many copies. That's crazy. Yeah, so can you provide any advice for blood CFCs? Well, okay, so didn't want to get into this kind of discussion. I don't mean to be I don't mean to be I don't want to be mean. So I won't be. Um, but we can't keep going with this. But yeah, okay, okay. Remember, CFCs wherever they form, whether it's in the bone marrow, in the breast, in the ovary, in the testes, in the pancreas, in the colon, in the brain, it's all the same thing. It's the same biological process going on. It's just going on in a different cell type, therefore it has different activities. But the actual fundamental rule, law, the thing that defines it, is called aerobic glycolysis, which just means basically it's another fancy word of for fermentation. But anyway, so what now? It depends on how now if you're talking about a leukemia and you've got a very high white blood count, like 200,000, 300,000, then you're going to need to get some intravenous vitamin C is fantastic for leukemias. It's fantastic. Uh, but if you're getting that high, that's when you would go and probably need some IPT to lower it, just to get it down under 100,000. Remember, a normal white count doesn't go above 10,000. It's anywhere from about 4.5 to 10 is considered normal or healthy. You start getting higher, that means things are going on. You get 100,000. So anyway, but you've got to do the same things. Emmanuel, yeah, the same things. The way I just described living, you got to live that way. And then vitamin C, um, ozone. These are all extremely. And then curcumin is very good for leukemias. So is uh, quercetin, and you can get these intravenously. Um, you got to get you got to tune up your physiology. You got to be taking enough vitamin C to satisfy your physiological requirements. You got to be You got to get your vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C, um, melatonin. You got to make sure when you're eating, you take some hydrochloric acid about 15 minutes before you eat so that your stomach is nice and acidic when the food arrives. And then at the end, when you're finished eating, you're going to take digestive enzymes to help you. Why? Because you've been eating cooked food for your whole life, like me, and so your pancreas is worn out, um, not worn out, but tired. It's inefficient. It's probably enlarged, and you're not going to get the best digestion, and you're going to stay full longer, and all sorts of stuff. So you take these things, but that's about it. You can also the other very important thing would be medicinal mushrooms for your immune system. You know, the maitake, shiitake, turkey tail, um, agaricus blazei, those kinds. But that's what you have to do. And I don't know where you're at now. Some leukemias are the opposite. They have no white blood cell, like one. So that's another thing. So it really depends on your situation. We're talking about, and multiple myeloma is considered a blood CFC, and so really, but my advice for that and for anything is always the same. The road to health can be achieved in only one way. There aren't any choices. There's no options. There's one way to get healthy, and that's by healthy living. There is not another way. There's not another way. And our goal is healthy health. Therefore, we have to live healthy. It's like way too simple to imagine, but it is very simple. It's very true, and that's what it takes. Miranda, my absolute pleasure. Uh, Miranda. Yes, let's pray. Let's all pray that this bill gets rejected. Okay. Let's not forget that's what we're here. Okay. We need to uh, save. We need to preserve medical freedom. Okay. I mean, think about it. Medical freedom. In other words, your health. To take that away from us is, you know, that's as bad as what they did with reading. They took reading away from us, and we got in the dark ages. The libraries in Alexandria were burned, and all that happened. And when it was the Dark Ages. Dark Ages is just ignorance. It's ages of ignorance. But so please do it, you guys. We're not going to belabor this. I really like so much appreciate everyone, um, and for all of you that are going through these struggles, I see your struggles every day, and it's just, like you guys are amazing. Like, and if I ever think I have a bad day, I just have to think about some of the things that you're all going through, and I am grateful. So anyway, um, please write in, figure out where to go. There's 6 people there, and it's HB2739. Tell them to vote no, and tell them why you want them to vote no. Do you want them to vote no because you want medical freedom, or you've known people that have gone there, or you yourself have come to Arizona and gotten help from this kind of practice, and you know of people that have it saved their life and all sorts of. Let them know that this is a real deal, and we don't want to lose this thing. And blah, blah, blah. They need to know that it's not just a few of us, but all of us. All right, and let's hope that works. I don't even know it works anymore because I don't know. Just like I don't know. What do we, everything we thought we knew about this country and not in the country, this civilization turns out to not really be true. So who knows? Anyway, please, you guys, thank you so much. And it's really late for all of us, unless you're living in Asia. But for the rest of us on the dark side of the planet, it's late. So, sawadee kap and namaste, namaskar, aloha, adios, and I'll see you. Okay. Uh, yes. Okay. And all right, everybody. Right, you got the name. Okay, Sandy, thank you. You got the names. Beautiful. All right, you guys. Sawadee Kap. Aloha.